Greetings, greetings, greetings. Black Xit family, Black Xit family, Black Xit family. Hey, wow. I see 12 people watching so far. Um, Sorry, I was on the way here and trying to speed with Glendon through traffic so we could get here today. So I hope more of you will be here. I'm going to just put it on the community page that we're live with Dr. Susan Tatah. She's actually joining us from Pan African Daily TV this week, which is quite exciting. And we're going to be talking about all of the fantastic developments that have been happening recently in the world of Pan-Africanism. And also, I'm going to talk a little bit about our day today. Now, if you've been watching the community page on Black Xit, if you haven't got access to the community channel or page on Black Xit, then I think you have to kind of create a YouTube channel and then you'll get access to it. So if you scroll across the bar, you probably can't see, but if you scroll across the bar and you go to community at the top on the Black Xit channel, when you get there, you can then log in. So I'm just doing, and we are live talking with Dr. Susan Tatah. Join us. Yeah. Yeah. Tatah of Pan African Daily TV. I'm writing as I go. Let's see. Right, let's see. Now let's see who's with us. Right. Hey, Black Xit. Wow, we've got Linda Moss, Amy G. Let's see who was here first. And then we're going to introduce our guest. We have a very, very special guest with us here today. And she's the lady who's like the queen of Pan-Africanism. And she's been a trailblazer in terms of not only connecting the world of Pan-Africanism, but also initiating and instigating change. Not just change, but revolutionary action. And that's what counts. She's not just a voice piece, but she's an action piece. And she's created many initiatives within the Pan-African world. And also she has been instrumental in engaging the youth into Pan-Africanism, which is all about educating the next generation, which is important, but not just educating, but enabling and also inspiring. So I would like to welcome our guest today to our Black Xit Live, Dr. Susan Tatah. Welcome to Black Xit. Thank you for being our guest. Well overdue, but nonetheless, absolutely worth the wait. Thank you, my queen.
Thank you so very much. Hotep, the Black Xit family out there in the community, on the continent and in the diaspora. It is a humble opportunity to be on a platform as such. I mean, when the queen hosts, then we don't have any choice. We just have to be there. Thank you once more for having me.
Oh, no, it's an absolute pleasure. So I'm going to talk a little bit about some of the advancements that we've even had today. And I had to, if you like, work in stealth a little bit, because, they say revolutionaries move in silence. And so some of us, sometimes you have to know when to talk and when not to talk. And so everybody that's on this live, you're going to get exclusive. Do you know why? Because you've supported, you've been there for Black Xit, and always there for Black Xit. And I think that's really, really important. So today, I'm going to try and go through your comments also and engage with you also, because today is a very important topic moving forward. But I want to talk to, why am I all dressed up? Snap. This is Glendon, everybody. Yeah, and Glendon is the person that connected me to Dr. Susan Tatah in the first place. Not that I was watching her online, but in terms of making that personal connection, it was Glendon that actually enabled that. And as you know, I give credit where credit is due. So Glendon's here with us today in terms of gratitude for making that connection. So, wow, there are so many comments, right? I'm unable to actually keep up. So I do apologize. I always say my usual greetings to everybody. So if I can't see your comment at the top, you're going to have to say it again for me. So I'm going to start with Amy G. She says, hello, everyone. Linda Moss, beautiful family. I'm glad you made it. Places we born. Bla Xit Family, Bla Xit Family, Bla Xit Family. Hello. Jose Long, Wendy Green. Greetings from North Carolina. Hey, Wendy. And Alpha Street, Sizzle's Diaries, greetings everyone, Tuko Padjoma, and Jerry D, and Bakit, sorry, Mohammed, greetings, he says to Bla Xit. So I'd like to thank you for joining us today. Thank you, all of you. Please share and let everybody know that we're live and direct today. Now, why am I all dressed up? Who knows? I'd like to see some comments to tell me why I'm all dressed up and why it's a great day for Pan-African Daily TV. Does anyone know why I'm all dressed up and I look all fancy today? Well, today's an historic day because today I actually met the president of the Gambia, His Excellency Adama Barrow. And so if you want to ask me some questions about how my day was, you go ahead. Okay, so Rebirth of Israel 7-7 said you met with the President Barrow. You met with the president? That's right. Yes, we met with the president. And someone says, well, congratulations. So Dr. Susan Tatah, Israel Pan-African Daily TV. You go ahead, launch and tell everybody about your platform, and please tell everybody about who you are, and also share with them some of your wonderful achievements and accomplishments that you've achieved.
Okay, I think first of all, before I go into the conversation, I really want to thank you, Juliet, and congratulations for today. You've just been asking a very important question. Why are you dressed up, or why are we dressed up? Of course, I saw you dressing today, and I had to copy that step as well. I had to really struggle to be my best, to look in, this gorgeous African beautiful queen that you are representing out there. I mean, it's a historical day for the Bla Xit family, but also for Pan-Africans and Africa generally, to see that you had broken that space and that barrier, and it to penetrate into the space where your message would actually, or the you representing the voices of the Africans worldwide, would get to the right channel. And so we from the Pan-African Daily TV, Africans worldwide, on the mainland, in the diaspora, are congratulating you for this wonderful step to meet His Excellency with your whole beautiful family. I mean, I was just jealous being there, Juliet. And to be honest with you, you are doing a very, very powerful job, not only with your platform, not only with your projects. You are just not the talk, but when we see a woman of a caliber as yourself, a queen, and not even an indigenously born on the mainland, but you are coming into the space and actually addressing the issues that millions of diasporans are waiting for. The initiative of citizenship, which you are actually putting out there. I don't know how Africa would ever be thankful or grateful to you, but I just think that your ancestors actually put you there for that purpose, and that they're watching over you, they're guarding over you. But us as physical humans and on this dimension, we're praying for you. we're really so damn proud to see an African, woman born in the diaspora go back home and trying to do everything you are. Black Seed is everywhere in the villages. Black Seed is everywhere trying to mobilize, trying to sign petitions, trying to be that voice out there, not trying, but doing, as a matter of fact. So, yes, of course, congratulations from Africans worldwide on the behalf of the Pan African Daily TV. Good. So coming back to the Pan African Daily TV, it is the fastest growing, as I can say, and the latest social media platform, which we created basically a year now. And actually, we came through the corona, as we all know, the shutdown of the whole world system, and we decided to relocate. But before we even started it, I am in Germany. I am Susan Tatah, honorary doctorate degree as Dr. Susan as philosophy of humanities, due to all my projects that I've been building while being here in the diaspora, where I'm based basically in Germany for the past 23 years today. And so for these 23 years, I actually was not just coming to study and to earn a living. Of course, that was the first intention why I left my birthland, Southern Cameroons. But when I got into the system to study, I realized the ignorance. I mean, the ignorance of the West regarding Africa, right? I mean, there's some case studies that I did, and I was like, question a lot. Is this really Africa? You feel like they're telling you something else that you are not. And so like we had like in our economic MBA program case studies like business and economic destinations, where are the companies in the West actually looking to relocate their production and industrialize further. And when you look on the list, it would always be China, it will be even Russia, right? But when it came to now the aid and the donor projects and the programs, when it came to hunger, poverty, diseases, wars, conflicts, tribal, religion, that's when you saw the case study of Africa coming up. And this actually was so depressing. I can tell you, you can imagine in an MBA class of about 60, I'm the only African, melanated, and then you hear that. So each time the case study of Africa came up, you see all your comrades in the class would just turn and they're looking at you like, yes, that's your story, right? And so immediately I finished my program, I started an organization, an NGO. Today it's called Africa We Want NGO. And I said it's appalling to understand how ignorant the West is about Africa. And so we started first by putting a project they call the Africa Festivals, and it's one of the largest platforms in Germany for the past 15 years, bringing Africans on the globe, on the continent, politicians, keynotes, and even top politicians of Germany. Yes, because we knew that we had to start by educating the world about who we are. And for the past 15, 16 years, we have powered so many editions, and we have invested a lot out on these platforms just to educate the world about what Africa actually is. So we had projects there like culture, history, artists, a market, showcasing, products and services made by Africans in Africa. I mean, it was a difficult journey, and I can tell you that is what actually had shaped my idea of who I am today, of the Pan-African that I am, because through this journey I begin to learn, even me myself, what does Africa actually mean? What is the potential of Africa? Just like any other African born on the continent, you remember we are three. We have the main land Africans, we have the African migrants, which I belong to, like the mainland, and then we have the indigenous diaspora. Yeah, so these three categories, it is so confusing to actually, differentiate. I mean the West to differentiate us because of our color. They all see us the same, And so each story that is narrated on the continent, if it's in case of war or poverty or whatever, it's just everything that they look at the black man. And so when I brought, like, for instance, I had to meet like African ambassadors in Germany, and I invited them each time on the festival. One thing I always told them were like, it is not important whether you are a diplomat or you're an ambassador sitting there in Berlin. I mean, you're an African. The moment you enter, you are on the street, they see an African. And so they don't care whether you are a president, whether you are an ambassador, whether you're a diplomat or whatever, you're an African. Because one thing that identifies you is your color to start with, just you being black. Like Black said, means you already are a product of this continent, or this narratives which we are all seeing today. So because of that journey, I had to meet, like really top German decision makers on the economic development between Europe and in Africa. For instance, I have met two German presidents, sitting presidents. The one that was in 2010 a host caller, and then I also met Joachim Gauck, it's called, and in audience with them, because it was just crazy how much ignorance, the common German or the Western, would, predicts Africa to be. And so, getting all of them, inviting them on my platform, we had business and social forum focused on Africa. We had to show products made in Africa. But each time that we had all this event going on, you understand, Germans particularly, would showcase German projects and investment and companies operating on the continent. And each time it gave me another big picture, like, wow, okay. So we're even addressing the wrong people. It's like the topic is always Africa, but the subject matter and the target and their focus is just someone else. Like where the money is going to, it will never concern us. So all these massive platforms and these projects that we did actually revolutionized me, as I can say. This is what actually transformed me into being the African that I've been. And we paid with a lot, with our blood, with our everything that you can imagine. We put work on that platform through volunteering for the past 20 years. You can imagine, you graduate and now you are working for an organization voluntarily. I mean, we used to say we're the biggest philanthropists with our engagements. I mean, I can't imagine the projects that I've done in Germany is rated at more than 2 billion euros in terms of investment with the team, with everything that we did. Right? But we never had any grant from the German government. We never had any support from Western companies, even though a lot of them were reaching out to us. Our concept was very clear. No, Africa is not for sale. And if it is for sale, it is not for you. Right? So the message was very clear. So we went even deeper into the concept of, if you are not African, we don't accept your sponsorship. And if you want to sponsor us or to be a partner, you have to really feel a lot of fun out why you want to be a partner or a sponsor. What is your interest? And I think all these things is coming back for us to understand that we need to hold foreign partners on the continent accountable. We need to ask a lot of questions. We need to give them a lot to feel when they want to work with us, so that we actually understand their aims and objectives. Of course, we're not refusing partnership. And so this essence of us going through all the steps actually reshaped, my Pan-Africanism. Then the more I did all these case studies, like during the festivals, we had to focus on each country, because like in the West, Africa, I would take that back anyway, but let me just explain the concept. Like us Africans in the West, when a German, for instance, say, are you from Africa? And then in that past, I used to like, what do you mean I'm from Africa? You can ask me if I'm from Cameroon, because Africa has 55 countries, right? And but as I got educated, or I got a walk, then I realized, of course, the Germans are not stupid to ask us, are you from Africa? Because we never were 54 countries. We were one. But you understand that they have actually miseducated you, and now you're the one even facilitating the narratives. And that was so crazy. Until today, a lot of us Africans are still making that mistake. Like we're just supporting the fact that we're disenfranchised, we're disunited, particularly in the diaspora. When a white or a Caucasian or a German would ask, are you from Africa? You see, Africans spend time justifying the fact that, oh, Africa is not, we are made of 54 countries, as you see me, I'm from Cameroon, this one is from Ghana, and this and that. But that's not Pan-Africanism. Because before they came to us, who were we? Who were we? We were one people. And that is the spirit of Pan-Africanism that we are trying, or we are educating ourselves to break down these boundaries. We have never been 55 countries. Even now, we are just having these illusionary boundaries. I mean, when I look at Germany, Germany is always the masterpiece on which I ask, how did they get here so Africa can get here? If I look at their past, because I take my case study where I am. Now I begin to study Germany and like after 1871, Berlin, Congress 1884, and with all their wars, with their terrible kind of, with their genocides in Namibia and all the other countries, with the partitioning and all that. And even with their own challenge with the Nazism and the Holocaust, everything that Germany has as history. And then guess what? The Berlin Wall. The Berlin Wall, how did they ever tear down that wall? It's just 30 years ago. Today, Germans always celebrate every 3rd of October the unification of Germany, and which was done in 1990. We're talking about 30 years today. So when we are saying a united Germany, we're talking a 30 years unity. And like I said, the boundaries, we could see them. They are physical boundaries. They are still there. I mean, part of the tourism or tourists that come to Berlin is to go to the Berlin Wall. So imagine a country, a people that were divided for decades. Yes, and they went through a lot of wars. They went through a lot. They lost the identity. And so when the Germans had to reinstate their identity, they started first of all by defining who is a German? What does it mean, Germanhood? And exactly that's the point where I want to come to. So we are also at that crossroad. Though we don't even have the physical boundaries like the walls of Berlin, we're just having our own in the mind. We have to start from a point of this broken Africa by defining who is an African. What does it mean to be an African? What is Africanhood? What is Africanness? When we start redefining this identity, then we're going to get so close to Pan-Africanism. And I think that's where we're starting now through these educational programs, breaking down every barrier of tribes, of religion, going back to our culture, our ancient history, who were our ancestors before, the hijackers, before these thieves came, to hijack us and to destroy us till today. Now, what we're even doing is just busy facilitating everything that they did to us. So that is actually what we do on the Pan-African Daily TV now. Every day, we host scholars, experts like you, my queen. You've been there a couple of times to talk about your project. It's all about advocacy. Those that are awoke have to hold the hands of those that are still asleep. And we know that this sleep has a lot of stages. We have a lot of stages. We have the ones that are awoke long ago, but they were just waiting. That's how I'm describing. And then we have the second ones that are gradually just awoke because of the pandemic, because of George Floyd. And now they still really like confused. And you see us, Pan-Africanism, you see a lot that are awoke, but everybody's just creating his own thing and wanting to just do something. And then you have the ones that are still sleeping. They're still struggling. Am I really awoke? Am I not? Just like when you have a baby and you want to tap her on the back, and she's like, oh, she has to yawn and get closer, and then falls back to sleep. We have that category of Pan-Africans. Then we have the ones that actually are deep at sleep. And these ones, I think, this is the category we shouldn't even wake them up. Yes, we have to just leave them sleep because some of them will not wake up. Some will not wake up in this category. So, but what we're doing on the Pan-African is we touch the first group, the ones that are absolutely awoke and we're just there waiting for the opportunity like this, yeah, to start educating. And these are our scholars, our professors, our experts, our voices doing exactly what we are doing. And then now when we get these ones, then these ones begin to recruit the ones that are still doubting, like the slaves, you're freed, but you're still thinking that you have a rope on your neck. And so you skip and you still come back and you sit, you still be that master. You're still obeying your master. And these ones now are the ones that, the ones that are walking, stand and say, no, 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 come. And when they run out of their circle, and then they realize, oh, I'm free. I don't have a rope again on my neck. So absolutely, I'm free. So they would just jump out and just go out. And the ones that are still, like I said, they're yawning, they're struggling to wake up, they're still sleeping like, oh my God, I still want to sleep. I'm still there. These ones, we're just tapping them gently. We're not being aggressive to them. We're not condemning them. We're just like, oh, it's time. Please wake up, wake up, wake up, until they get the voice. But the ones that are deep asleep, oh no, we just leave them sleep, because this one is going to cost you too much energy. Instead of us going ahead, we're going to sit there struggling to wake up these ones. Then we just hope that while we are doing the changes, they will jump up and meet us. So basically, that's what we've been doing. Like I said, we just 1 year, and we've hosted more than 700 conversations that we've produced on the Pan-African Daily TV. The community is growing. People are getting awake. They're being grateful. They are thankful. They're coming up with presidents. They're watching, and we're challenging the status quo of everything. Now, concerning our program, we take what is at present, right? Like we say, we're woke. Now, particularly the first ones, like our scholars, they know it. So we're not going to just bash on the wall. Let's take like the leadership of the continent. These are the ones that we say they're really just asleep, right? And or the ones that we say they pretend they're awake, but that kind of child doesn't want to go to school. He doesn't want to get away, and he's going to be pretending like he's sleeping. And so yes, so you keep like, no, but I know that you're awake, you're listening to me, you know what I'm talking about. So we look at the challenges and we look for the solutions. So our guests are actually that kind of high-end guests that have something to offer to the solution of Africa. We're not debating. We're not a debate platform. We don't come and argue whether your idea is good or mine not, or you're better than I, or I should be doing much better. No. What we are doing is that we have a paradigm that we understand that we have three main groups that we have to focus on. We have the mainland Africans. We understand that even as they took the indigenous, what we call the diaspora today, they were hijacked. The same people went and colonized them. So we are cognizant of that they still, although they're on the continent as indigenous, they're just still doing some things that is not them, right? And so we have the African migrants like myself. I'm the mainland, then I migrated. So you see, when I deal with the indigenous, what they call Black Germans here, you first of all have to pipe down a little bit, because you understand where they're coming from. They've never been to the continent. They don't even understand even our the way we agitate. They just Black in color, but German in their head. They don't have a choice. They were raised like that. They were born like that. So these three groups, we actually deal with them, understanding their backgrounds, their situations, their challenges, and the challenges are enormous, starting from our homes as families and the breakup. And it's just too much, right? But we are struggling to use the first group, those that are already ahead, lecture to those that are already gaining that consciousness. And right now, the fire is catching all over the globe. Africans really, if I look from the statistics, where we started, we have more than 100 million followers in just a year. And even on our YouTube channel that we just created, we're hitting 20,000 subscribers, which is not a day thing. If some people are not really awoke, people will not pay attention. So I think summarily, though I already expand a lot, if there's some questions, I will take them. This is basically what we are doing. And we are on track. We are on track. Yes. Back to you.
You're doing a lot. Listen, Wow, I sat there and I'm like, oh my goodness, all in a day's work. Sister, you're working hard. Huh? You're working
Yes.
hard. Like it even made me sweat. Even my nose is sweating. It's sweating just listening to the work that you're putting in. And I'm so proud of you. I'm so very, very proud of you. And I'm glad that you're doing what you're doing, because there needs to be more of us, doing this work. The work is arduous, and it's rewarding, very rewarding. Um, and sometimes the burden is heavy. However, the task must always be taken on without fear or favor. We have to continue. We have to push forward. That is our mission. That is our purpose. And we have to take it on graciously. And that's what you're doing. So I've learned a lot from watching your channel, watching interviews. Sometimes when I miss them, I have to go back on a Sunday morning and do serial serial watching back-to-back programs from early in the morning until the afternoon. And so the information that you're sharing, the knowledge that you're sharing, is essential to all of us. And so I understand what you said about some people are sleeping, some people are awake. Can I be honest with you? I think last week I said something that my ancestors said to me, and it was of the view that, I'm not here to convince anyone of anything, and we're not here to convince anyone of anything. All we're here to do is to share information. And so people have the option of taking that information in, but you can't unhear, you can't unlisten, and you can't unthink those thoughts. And so you're sowing seeds, you're like a farmer, and you're sowing those seeds, and those seeds will come to fruition at some point. You'll have some seeds which won't germinate. You'll have some seeds which really come up quickly. You'll have some seeds that just rot in the ground. And you'll have some seeds that, create many, many generations of lovely harvests. So this is the combination of what we are and what we represent. And so, hang on a minute, someone's just have to quickly do something. Can you do me a favor? Can people not swear for me? Yeah, that would be great. Okay, so I just want to talk to what happened today. So first of all, I want to say a heartfelt thank you to some really important people who have been supporting Bla Xit and Council of African Descendants. And this isn't just people that are here on the ground in Gambia, but people who are all around the world that have been supporting Bla Xit.
Correct.
And so, you're one such person. But we also have people like Eugene Telford. We have people like Dr. Malana, people like Dr. Cambon. We have people like Martin from iGambia, Wodamaya, Dynastamia. They're vloggers, but also on the ground here, we have many MPs, cross-party MPs, because Pan-Africanism isn't really a political movement. It's a spiritual movement.
Correct.
It's a unification movement. It's a togetherness movement. And that is the heartbeat of Pan-Africanism. And so I think that, moving forward is important. And I learned something today. I had an audience with the president, with my son, my husband, and also 3 very important MPs who were there with us today. One of which was called Sekou Marong, Honorable Sekou Marong, and also Alaji Jawara, and a very important man who is like a grandfather of the house. And his name is Majanko Samsu. And he has knowledge that we can share. He has been in Parliament through the last 3 presidents. And so there's so much that we can share, so much that we can learn. And he was instrumental in arranging the audience with the president today. But it's that Pan-African mindset that makes things happen. It's the Pan-African mindset that pushes us through. And it was that Pan-African mindset that landed us in front of the president. And I must say, it was a Pan-African mindset of the president that has had me smiling all day today. When I heard the president, talk about Julius Nyerere and quote Julius Nyerere, and he quoted Peter Tosh. When a president of a country starts to quote Peter Tosh, it doesn't matter where you're born. As long as you're a black man, you're an African. You know that we're making moves in the right direction. When you hear a president remind you that you are an African and no one can take that away from you, that is your legacy, your heritage, your history, your origins, and nobody can take that away from you, strip it away from you, take it away from you, or do anything to delete that from you in any way. That is what I speak to. That is the power that, that is what is leadership. That is what is leadership. When you have that encouragement and that support, I'm not political, but I do like to be inspired and sit with people who inspire, not just me, but others. And also those that inspire and are grassroots. And I'm grassroots. I'm a grassroots. And I'm a village girl. And the president is also a village man. And, we as Africans are a global village. We are everywhere on the planet. And so it speaks to that power that we have as Africans. Because if you look at the AU and their project 2063, in which there'll be no borders and one African passport, I welcome that day. I hope I'll be alive in 2063 to live through it. But invariably, if I'm not, my children and my grandchildren will be. And so today's a historical day because our Majanko. Okay, I just want to put this on the screen. Sorry, Majanko Samusa is a relative of mine. I pray all goes well, Bla Xit. Thank you so much. And you should be very proud of your uncle or your relative because he speaks the truth. And so I want to talk to you, Susan, now about the relevance of engagement. Like I said, I've had engagement. I've been in Parliament in the UK, and I knew it was just a talk show. But here, I felt the power of progress today. His Honourable Adama Barrow, I must confess, was far more... I don't even know what to say. I don't even know far more. He just was totally progressive. And I thought about Magufuli. There was something today, and I felt like the spirit of Marcus Garvey was there. Yesterday was the anniversary of Marcus Garvey's death. And when we met with the president, which happened to be the next day, would you imagine that? That's just like, Exactly. No such thing. And we met the next day with the president, and it was almost as though Marcus Garvey was sat in the room. It was like he was sat in the room and talking to people sitting in the room. I know Glendon's got a question for you. So I'm gonna jump off the mic and allow him to engage, and then I'm going to put the channel um, details on the page. So sorry, the invite. So if someone wants to come and ask you some questions, they can, because I'm sure a lot of people have got a lot of questions for you about what you do. But one question I'm going to leave with you with is I want to know who's been your best interview today and why, yeah, in terms of Pan-Africanism. And then I'm going to go to Glendon here. So that's my question for you. And then Glendon's got a question for you. Go ahead, Glendon.
Susan, you could say me, okay?
You have to
Okay.
go to the mic.
Oh, and Susan, you can say me, okay? It's quite okay for you to say me, but I'm just kidding. My question for you, Susan, is, how do you get up to this every day and still maintain the peace of mind that you come on the air with, not seeming flustered, not seeming overwhelmed by the challenges of this type of thing? Because, I mean, I'm in the presence of Sister Nancho here right now, and I can tell you that it's a challenge. The things that happens behind the scene, it's a lot. So how do you navigate the behind the scene events? How do you do it and still able to function the way you do?
Okay, thank you, Glendon. I'm very happy because you also have been our guest on the Pan African Daily TV, and actually, you were one of those that always had to motivate me and call and like, I have to go now. I need this contact, and you asked a question on unusual times. I mean, you had that connection as if we had known ourselves, even though we've never seen each other. Now, exactly, I'm answering your question. If I'll go back to what Juliet said or asked. You see, that is what keeps me on. The moment you are in a race and you know that you have work to do, it's like you want to feed children. Africa is hungry. 60% of our children, our people, are without healthcare, are without food, are without jobs, from what we know. And so that means if you are a Pan-African and particularly a freedom fighter for Pan-Africanism, for development, for emancipation in every sector, for industrialization, it is so difficult for you to get tired. Because why would you get tired? Are the challenges on the continent are over? Of course, I know. Sometimes it sounds crazy, like, oh, so you want to say you are going to be the one to eradicate this before you? No, it is those calls and those things, those inspirations and those questions and those the enthusiasm to do something that keeps you awake. Because the more you're doing something and people are connecting and people are relating and people are supporting, you just energize. Like Juliet said, it is not a one-man show, Pan-Africanism or Africa. Remember, I sit on the Pan-African Daily TV and I'm representing, for instance, a whole race of Africans worldwide and the whole continent, and African people in all forms and shapes. Um, it cannot be Susan. No way. It can never be us doing this. It is the spirit of our ancestors and the God of our creation that can do that. But it can come in different form, like me in this dimension. It was an ancestor, I don't know which one. Juliet, the same. You, the same, right? And all other Pan-Africanists, those that are awakened. Um, it is a journey of unity and a family. And we, like African people, we rely on one another for existence. That's why we die quickly when we want to imitate. When I say die, not physically death, but like the spirit of Pan-Africanism is being functional. It's the opposite spirit. What Reverend Shuck said, the second frequency people. And we are the first frequency people because we are spiritually connected. So I live by you. and you live by me. The energy of exchanging, of relating, I can never deal without my people. I can't survive without Africanness. I can't survive without my race. And that is what keeps me going. That is what keeps me always fresh because, like, our energies, our spirituality is so strong. It is like fresh wine. If you're on the continent, I don't know if you've tasted fresh palm wine, right? I grew up in a village.
Yeah.
All of us are now, and I love that. I mean, some way back when I was on German televisions and news and newspapers, and they used to ask me, and I used to tell them I'm a village girl, right? And some Africans were like, "You say you're a village girl. Normally, you're supposed to say you're this." But I'm a born and bred in the village. I mean, when I say village, usually you're saying village because maybe you were born here and you went to the village. But when I say village, I'm talking about you walk 10 kilometers to go and fetch water, to go to school. You're right. There is no electricity. You have to cross rivers even in the night to go to the farm with your parents. You know nothing about civilization, as a matter of fact, what they call civilization, right? I am that kind of daughter, a daughter of the rock from the villages. When I say in village, I'm not talking about the urban village because you still have village and village and villages. But I'm talking about one of the most remotest, what the world would call the dark continent. That's where I come from. And so when you come from such shrines, I call them shrines, and such dynasties, you can never be different. You are like fresh palm wine every day because the rivers are with you at every time. The earth and the soil that I grew up walking every day on the farm with my parents, they keep you every day. The air that I breathed when I grew up and I did everything keeps me every day. You can never, you look young at every time. You are always smiling at every time. The sun is on you. It doesn't matter what type of the day, what challenges. Yes, the challenges would always come because I left my luxury. I left my gold. I left my riches. I left everything. I left nature. I left healthy food. I left a clean thinking. And I did what? I exchanged it. I traded up for what we call today civilization. I traded up for skyscrapers. I traded up for tarred roads. I traded up for religious purposes. And I became diluted. And the fact you become diluted and you don't find your roots, you don't go back like Sankofa is saying. You lost it. Now you become old, you become stressed, you become depressed, you don't tap into the roots. When you don't tap into those roots and you begin to understand why the stress, because you have taken something that is not you. It doesn't fit into your capacity. It doesn't look like you. It doesn't fit into that shoe. So we're always struggling to be what we are not. The clear thing is just being who you are. There is no reason why an Africa would want to manifest something else. It means you have traded off something. And remember, when you trade off luxury, queenness, authority, achievements, everything, family, for something else. So you wonder why, I'm so stressed up. Even if you are a professor or what, your job, no matter how much they pay you, you still look tired, you still look worn out, you still look burnt out, you still never satisfied because you are not you. You're just somebody else. You just trade everything out. Everything that you looked at was called poverty in your eyes, in their miseducation, because the worst thing that ever happened to us is when we start going to those schools and going to this church and going to this mosque and going to this test, we diluted. And when we diluted, we became somebody else. And now you begin to look like that somebody else. So I think going back to my root, despite the fact that I was here, I stayed so loyal to who I was. I never refused for 1 second that I'm a girl from the village. Never, for any reason, for any purpose. On my festivals, you see me carry my babies on the back, not only my own babies, any other babies, even the white babies of the visitors that come. And I'll be moving barefoot and we'll be making noise and we'll be clapping hands. Hoo, hoo, hoo. Hello, how are you? And we'll be doing that. And every other, the Germans were like, what? But we told them, and just by not speaking, that welcome to Africa. This is it. It's not the Africa that they show you, the Tarzans. It's not the Africa. I can remember one case where we had a toilet that was too full because the population on these festivals will have about 30,000 visitors in a couple of 4 days, right? And so the capacity of the toilet was not accommodating enough for the population. And so you could see women waiting in a queue just to go and to the restroom. And so everybody was just standing there. And I just came and I moved across. I said, what are you waiting for? Oh, the restroom is not functioning. I said, and you have to wait. We are in Africa. Let's do it the African way. Right. And I just went behind and I did it. You know, and I like, there's not going to be any kind, what we call chyme, there's not going to be any bacteria that is coming from everywhere. And so that ideology of the poor Africans, oh, they don't have toilets, or they don't have, this is exactly what today the world is struggling to tell you about ecology. Who wants to teach us that? Who? I've been on so many conferences with German women. I used to tell them, what you struggle to do today, what you, the European women or the so-called civilized, whether in every color, try to do today, our great-great-grandmothers did it long time ago. And they did it just like one hand. I mean, I remember my grandmother had 10, 12, 15 children, no child support, and she was in a polygamous home, and she did it. Get back to my own mother. My mother had how many of us? She was also in a polygamy and had how many and sponsored us. And today we're here sitting and controlling the world. What do you want to tell me? No diaspora or no African, when you look back to your roots and you're ashamed of it, I'm sorry for you. It is either ignorance or arrogance. Those are the two things I always say. And ignorance, it's okay if you don't know and you want to know. But arrogance is when you know, particularly you come from the village and now you want to be. You want to belong. You even beg to belong. There is no reason why an African that is awoke should be stressed out. If we only would understand the same game that the missionaries, so-called missionaries, came with the Bibles and gave us and asked us to close our eyes, you know, Jomo Kenyatta, and when we opened our eyes, before we realized we were in the ships and they were on the land. It is the same responsibility of the diaspora, and particularly the migrant diaspora. You are here like missionaries. That's what I always tell them. Be a missionary. You're not just coming because you're running away from something. You come to achieve something and make sure you achieve that thing. And when you achieve it, we relocate like you just did, Juliet. And so that is just part of that. The secret is just be yourself. Go back to your roots and just be who you are. You will remain forever the happy person that your ancestors have always been. The first frequency people, the spiritual people. Yeah. Now coming to Juliet. Juliet asked, who has been my best guess or something like that today. It is a challenge to tell you that. And before I answer that question, first of all, Juliet, I forgot to tell you that King Bishop Maponga Joshua actually apologized for not being on this program as you had earlier invited. Yeah, right. He got it into some challenges. He's currently being on the road launching his book, which is actually going a rival, which would challenge the theological mindset that we have in our space right now. So he is the watcher. That's what we call, you know, the ancestors from the past bringing the news into the future. And so he wrote a very incredible book, and he's on the way, totally booked, you know, book launching, reading and stuff like that. So my apologies from Joshua Maponga. Now, coming back to who is the best guest, I can say, like you said before, we are all spiritual beings on this journey. And so everybody comes on the Pan-African Daily TV with a message to the audience. And so I don't choose the guest, but each guest that comes, I know that they are sent from the ancestors to educate us. Because you can imagine, it's not my show. It's not my program. It's not, and that's why on the Pan-African Daily we don't focus like the typical how do I want to say, the modern, I don't use that word. The different Africanness in us. We want to do question and answers, and I send you questions before, and you send it to me. No, sometimes we do a topic, and you see the topic take another direction. We have seen a lot of signs on the Pan African Daily TV each time. And when the guest is not the right guest with the right message, you see techniques that acting up and issues that acting up. Before I knew that, I used to complain, oh, we are this. But when I got the message and they just told me, there are guests that if they don't send them to talk to us, everything just falls apart. But there are guests that when they come and each one has a message, even when we started, you see, it takes another turn. So every one of us, whether the guests, the followers, those in the chat, those that are listening, those that are following, like your audience that is watching us today, all of you are called on this mission. It doesn't matter how Juliet would thank you for doing what you're called to do. Take it as a privilege and honor that you are serving your nation. Juliet is just a vessel. She's just like a door, a gate. She's been put there, right? And to do her job. But you coming on your own, Juliet can never influence that. No, she's the voice, the face of the ancestors. Maybe Ya Asantewa or Queen Nzinga, whichever, or Harriet Tubman, whichever ancestor she is. Which she is just playing that role of that ancestor. But you, in the question, in the chat, in the sharing, even her shows, yeah, recommending it to everybody, you are doing a tremendous job. And most of these people, they don't see them on camera. Whether you're supporting Bla Xit through your monthly contribution, through your monthly subscription, whether you just even post and say, Juliet, I love you. Thank you for the work you're doing. You look so gorgeous and beautiful today. It is a message from an ancestor, and it is a contribution to Pan-Africanism. So all of us, no one is the best, and no one is the worst, and no one is the first, and no one is important than one another. When we get these facts and we get this truth, and we know that we are called to work. So the issue of being relevant, the issue of being, I can do it much better, the issue of it's my thing, the issue of validity, the issue is I am the best woman now that would relocate the diaspora, or Susan Tatah, you are the Jesus that would save, is wrong. We need to be humble, and we need to understand that nobody chooses to do this. Even though we thank ourselves, it is your journey. You are called upon to do it, and that's why they give you the followers. That's why they give you the speakers. That's why they give you the power that you are never draining out. Like I said, the river is with us every day. The earth of Mother Africa is with us. The air, because these are the three dimensions that make us. The spiritual, yeah, the fourth, the fire, which this one belongs here. That's not us, right? And so all these things, you can never say how much hour you put here. I question myself sometimes when I was working on the project, like, how could I get such energy? I talk to my husband and my kids are like, you keep doing it. You're not even tired. You don't get any money from it. And sometimes you're annoyed. You can't even pay your bills, but you have the passion to do it all the time. Sometimes I cried in the beginning. And I asked why am I being punished? Why should this not be given to somebody else? Well, I've studied, I have experience. I could just walk my walk, pay my bills, support my husband and my family and stuff like that, and I will be fine. No, that's not what you came to do. And that's why us, like in this movement and this journey as Pan-Africans, money is the last thing that you think about, because your ancestors take it away from you. Like I said, I lost so much money until money became irrelevant to me. There is nobody that can buy me. Nothing. I mean, when I say me, we've had people that are on the Pan-African Daily, or even private investors. Oh, you're talking about a satellite channel or a media that connects. We have a million for you and this and that. And I'm like, okay, thank you. It's nothing. That is not what we want. You can bring the million. That's how they buy our continent. That's how they buy our people. Because we put money. Money has never been the medium for us Africans. What is very essential is us, people, family, Relationship, the spirit of the village. A child is not your child because it came from your womb. It takes a village to raise a whole child. I know it. From today, every step of my life has never been from my birth mother. And that's why I'm coming up to the topic motherhood. Motherhood is what we need. We can build these relationships. I mean, of course, I really admire this story that your experience today with His Excellency Adama Barrow. I think he's a very noble person to get that spirit. But let me tell you one thing, Juliet. All our leaders are Pan-Africans. They know their history so well, and they can quote all these instances to you. But you know what? I quit believing in that. I believe in what I see. The day, Juliet, you come and tell me Gambian has given granted citizenship to its diasporas. Gambian has given, located the possibilities where they are, then I will match those words. I've been through it all. I've sent them tell you all the stories, quote you to you, even before you go, they already know why you're there. But you would stay every day hoping on that. What are we saying? Hold us, each and every one of us, accountable. Your words should mark your action. If your action don't rhyme your words, please spare us that. Give us the way we're going to build that Africa. So I think that's just the background that we are talking about. One last thing to you, Juliet. You asked who has been my best. My best are most of the feedbacks, the critics that we have. Yeah. The critics, not, like I said, we're not doing debate, not the negative critics, but the positive critics. I mean, I get like, just recently, a group of young men wrote to us and like, Dr. Susan, please do a show only for men. And I was like, for men, is this not about gender? No, it's not about gender. We men lack the womanhood, the motherhood. Teach us. Women should teach us. Now you understand. That's what I'm talking about. When you match these things, and then the need to belong, the need to become, the need to be original is there. People start realizing, oh, I'm different. If I had the touch of a mother, I mean, I'm talking of Mother Africa, then maybe I would be different. Can you imagine that is the men coming to us and soliciting our help as mothers to raise them up? I'm not talking about children. But when we talk sometimes to say women, be conscious in the development of Africa, we're not talking about sitting on positions and doing women conference left, center, right, and celebrating Women's Day. We're talking about the necessity also to start grooming and looking and saying this president, whether it's from the AU or what, they were given birth by a woman. How was he raised? Because most of us women, we give those privileges to our sons from the colonial setup, which we were not. But we know in our African setup, we don't have a gender base. We are balanced. We follow the principles of my art. Balance. There is no woman and no man in the kingdom. Everybody just knows what they do and where they belong. So we're not going to sit here and be talking, oh, women now should take over Africa because they're better than the men. There's no such language in the indigenous Africa, in the village that I grew up at. We just saw our mothers organize community works, champion everything. And to be honest with you, they're the business owners. They pioneer the economy of the African. But you see what? They don't speak it. They're just at their marketplace, busy selling their njamanjama or their palm wine and sending their children to school without saying anything. And you can be there and say, I'm the chief, I'm the this, I can do this and that. They don't care. They just quiet and just do the basics. They feed their children. They're more concerned about how healthy the community is. And I think this, if I have one thing to just plead, or I have one message or one voice, or at least my small something, is women, our men, our children need us to groom them, to teach them. And even when I ask this group, oh no, you know, I know you're growing in the diaspora, very soon you start saying, Dr. Susan, is this, is it? And say, no, do not even be afraid to hush us down. We want to learn. Most of us grow on the street without parents. Most of us are into drugs, into prison. We've never had the touch of a mother. We need that motherhood. So I think that's the challenge for us as mothers, not as women in leadership, as mothers, to groom the Africa that we want. Thank you so very much. I'm sorry for talking too much, but There's just too much to say.
No, I mean, that's the ideology. That's the reason why you're here, is to share information, and that's important. It's very, very important. Like I said, sometimes it's one sentence that can sow a seed in someone's mind, which then permeates into more than just a seed. It grows into an idea. That idea turns into action. And I just want to reassure you that although I can't talk very much about the private meeting that I had with the president today, and the reason why is because there were some really crucial and important things said. And I don't know who's watching all over the world, but I will say to you that, and I will speak to this, that there will be progress. There will be progress.
I trust you because your mother.
Absolutely.
When you say it, I believe you. I believe you, Juliet. If it's about you coming from your mouth, I wasn't indifferent to that. But I was just saying we need to hold ourselves accountable. What should my action? But you, I bet it on you. I know you will deliver. Yes.
I mean, absolutely. I think, like I said, time is very crucial at the moment for all of us. And we're going through a lot of changes as Africans globally. And one of the things that we're finding is our identity. And so when I talked about automatic citizenship, and I discussed this today, and I discussed it, I did some interviews afterwards as well. And so during one of the interviews that I did, I think it was for Daily News, which is a Gambian newspaper run by Honorable Maji Cisse. And it was Balde who did my interview today. And during the interview, I said that it's important that we realize that the automatically African bit must come first before citizenship. And Honorable Khalifa Saleh, who was recently at our symposium, made it very clear it's our birthright to come home. But we need nation building. We need unity. And so, as you said before, there was no 54 countries carved up in 1885, 1884 by the Berlin Conference and our colonizers. And so what today meant to me was actually the recognition of us as Africans. And of course, the acceptance of us within Gambian society. And that is crucial. Systems and processes are going to take time. And I appreciate that. And I've got no issue because I have patience. I have understanding and tolerance. But we was able to put forward a proposal. And that proposal, whether people like it or they don't like it, is up for the lawmakers to make that decision. Correct. All we can do is, as an interest group, is put forward our proposal. So when I said that it's important that we're automatically seen as Africans, that has to be first. Identity has to be first. Identity.
Juliet,
I just proud to be Africans.
I'm sorry. Let me just come shortly there. I mean, we are one. If we know our history, we know. I mean, I still look at it and just saying I'm thankful that I'm recognized. I think it is about right. But I think what you're saying is, like I said, on the Pan-African, we identify 3 groups. The challenge could be not just recognizing, but putting up structures that would reintegrate. I mean, we also understand that this 3, let me say 3, the mainland Africans, we have the African migrants, and then we have the indigenous diaspora in terms of economy and revenue and stuff like that. So we look at who contributes what to the economy of that. And I think the question now is not just recognition. The question is now, what are the structures that, and what is the means of sustainability, and that we are coming. It's your home. Your ancestors were there, but before they took them, they had land. The ones that they took from Gambia, from the Kunta Kintes and all of us, all the way, they didn't have land. They had land. So we're not going to go into that decades along. It is a right. It is not a recognition, as if we're recognizing, my opinion, a Chinese for buying a piece of land. No, it is a birthright to understand. I had a child that was stolen away. Now this child is coming back, and this child, his father's place, where we do it in the village all the time. Yes. So this initiation is what I think you're saying, which is correct, absolutely. But now the way forward is the structure. How do we mingle our mindset? The diaspora, migrant diaspora, have another a mindset, or another a situation in which they contribute tremendously back home. But probably the systems in place are not putting some kind of attention. And so you see the clash in even us from the roots of this integration and stuff. I think for that one, it's our responsibility as Africans globally. It is not only the leadership that will do that. So I just wanted to make that point, that I congratulate him actually for that. But I still think, and we're challenging them every day on the Pan-African Daily TV to say, it is their birthright. Give them the piece of land that their father had when they took them. Juliet?
It's like I absolutely understand everything that you said. I had someone recently say to me, Juliet, move on.
What? What?
As Juliet, move on. and this is, you know, someone who's in a diaspora who feels they're living, you know, their best white life or their best white line. And I said to them, you can call me Nyancho. You can call me Nyancho. I've moved on to Nyancho. I've taken my automatic citizenship, which is the changing of my identity to my authentic African identity. I've moved on to Africa. Call me Nyancho. Call me by my name. Just like Kunta Kinte said, I am Kunta Kinte. I am not Toby.
Yes.
So by holding tight to our identity, by holding tight to who we are and the origins of our ancestors, will only guide us in the right direction. And that is the only way to move on, is to never forget. No other nation forgets their forebears. No other nation forgets, because someone who's gone down that route knows the route.
Mm.
If someone knows the journey, then they can be your guide on the journey. Absolutely. They can help you to navigate that journey. They can show you the hard roads and the straight roads, the high roads and the slippery roads.
I share, my queen. That's just the truth.
And so that is the blueprint. And we have blueprints. And so I've had, you know, naysayers about automatic citizenship. And, you know, people saying, you know, Juliet, what are you talking about? Juliet, what are you doing? And the thing is, I got to explain to them, Nyancho knows what she is doing. Nyancho means warrior. Nyancho is in love with Africa. Nyancho is a part of Africa. And Nyancho comes from Africa. And so we have to embrace Africa. I think that's the first thing that we have to do. For those people that, you know, are fighting not to be African, so be it. That's your choice. I am not fighting to be African. I was born African and Africa was born in me. And let me make that clear. Africa was born in me. And as the president of the Gambia, Adama Barrow, said today, yeah, no one can take your Africanness away. And I love that statement. No one can take your Africanness away. You know, what thrilled me today is the fact that he's a Bla Xit subscriber. He watches Bla Xit. So he might even be watching you now.
Absolute. He is the true son of Africa. They know, you know them not just by their name, you know them by the spirit that connects you. What you felt in that place was actually saying you're home. And it's okay. It's okay. Why not? Why should he not watch Bla Xit? You are the queen that is doing the work that most of them are being paid for. Why should they not? It is complimentary. Sometimes we think it's an honor. It is a duty to do it, particularly when you take the oath of being on the leadership of Africa. It means service. And it's okay.
Absolutely. I just want to say, and I want to ask you a couple of more questions before we go. But one of the, I know you were very tactical in answering the question about who your favorite guest was, yeah? Because I've seen, you know, I'm going to talk a little bit to Joshua Bongo, Pilo Lumumba, and others. One of my favorite people that I've actually interviewed, I must say, was young Usman Toure.
Yes.
I must say was young Usman Toure, as in a young leader, young inspiration, and also young Tony Mendy, who is now the president of PENSA. Very inspirational young people that I had the opportunity and the graciousness to and the opportunity, I got to say, I mean, it was just, I don't even know. Like, honestly, that day that I did the interview to those two young men has totally changed my life and their lives, actually, because, you know, young Usman is now in Rwanda and, you know, very proud of his achievements and what he's achieved. So in terms of young Pan-Africanists, I've known my two, you know, and there's a young lady who's under PLO who I want you to talk to me about some aspiring young Pan-Africanist potential leaders for tomorrow. And I'm not letting you off the hook. You have to name names.
Okay. No, I think the reason why is because I think I diverged from that question is not being tactical. The spirit that I wanted us to share is to understand that it's a collective. It's a collective. All of us are just special in our way. But really, I would never have ended this show without talking on the aspect of this motherhood that I touch. And actually, the motherhood was to come back to the point that even if I had interviewed Osman Toure, it was because a mother put him in the limelight, and it was you, Juliet. And that's how I even came to know you. So you see, like, from your works, I know you. I never was introduced to you by someone, but when we saw the video and the interview that you did, if you never gave that chance, and that's what Pan-Africanism is all about, each and everyone creating an opportunity, like with our platforms, giving people the opportunity to say what they do and or to just air out, is already a contribution that the individual is doing, but it's also an opportunity. If you never opened that door, remember I already said, you're like the gatekeeper and like a mother. If you ignored Osman Toure because you thought, as a young kid, they like him. And I like the way he walked to you like, oh, I've been watching you. Is this you? I mean, some other arrogant people, like I say, it's either ignorance or arrogant. You would have just like, oh, yeah, it's me and so what? Oh, I have business here. I'm coming to interview the woman that has the restaurant and not you. But what did you do? You finally just transformed the whole event and it became something else. And because of that, I never would have met Usman Toure. And when we saw that video trending, that was when we just launched the Pan-African Daily TV. And we were just posting, you know, what Pan-Africans are saying. And when Usman realized that the video was going viral, then he wrote to us and like, I'm the one on the video. And I was like, what? Okay. And Patrick, our correspondent on the continent, reached out to him, and he came and we did that marvelous interview for the first time. I think that was, we were just, I think, about 2 months after we interviewed Dr. Arikana, Professor Pierre Olumumba, and some other voices in the beginning. Osman Toure was the first young person, you know, a young but an old, with an old spirit, yeah, brain. He looks young, but it's an ancestor, and we can easily locate which ancestor is him. And when he made that interview, that was the first interview that I had 2,000K watching live. And because of that interview, our first Facebook page was brought down because the massive turnout that people were watching that interview. And later on, after that interview, it is just in our Africanness, like you're saying, to be recognizable. Like we say in an African language, we say you don't pick a mango and don't look up where the tree where it fell from. And so when I started, I like, Osman Toure, but who did that video? I saw the mother, yeah, Mama, and she calls you Mama. I saw Mama Gambia. Please, can you connect us to her? And she was like, yes, I will do. So it only takes one opportunity, and then you see the whole change. And so I'm not only saying yes, he is even not only a voice or what young people are doing. He is Honorable Osman Toure. When we interviewed him, we had made him straight from the point, you're going to be the leader of the new Africa. Because sometimes when we prophesy and we just tell them what they're doing, they did it. And before we knew it, he's all over now, from places to places, finishing his degree, sometimes helping on Bla Xit. He is also sharing everything and the work that you're doing, because Osman also realized, I came from there. I came from Mama Juliet, and then I transcended through the other channel. So whatever I am today, I remember where I came from, right? So it is too much of an impact. Today, he's on national TV and everywhere. He is honorable. He's not only honorable, and as we said it, he's going to be that, what he is. So he is now on the Pan-African Daily TV as on the advisory board, which we have the top of the top. We have Professor Pierre Lumumba, Dr. Arikana, Maponga Joshua, Professor James Small, all of the teams of the, like I said, the scholars, the ones that were awoke. And Osman is the young voice and the champion on the advisory board. And one last thing, we are coming up with the Pan-African Institute, yeah? And it's going to focus on language and culture. And you know who is actually the face of that Pan-African Institute is Osman Toure. And thanks to who? Juliet from the Bla Xit family. That's how it goes, right? Juliet?
That's it. That's amazing. That is amazing. I'm really happy because we were at a meeting with Dr. Balasaho from the University of Oklahoma, who specializes in African studies, yesterday. And we were at his house for a meal. And we ended up, loads of us, being at his house yesterday. He invited me for dinner, but then if you invite Yancho, right, the whole crew come. And so
it's a whole part. Even me, I'm there.
It was about 10 of us. You invite Juliet for Domino, yeah, everybody's coming. So there was about 10 of us there enjoying Domino, and a debate started. I want to thank also all of the speakers at the recent symposium that you will be seeing on my channel very shortly. It is quite a lot of speakers, so I changed it, which was to chop up the footage into the individual speakers, because they each have their own merit, and I think each deserve their own, show their own contributions. So that's the reason why it's taken some time for me to put it out, because I had to do a complete re-edit. And some of the people that were on that symposium was so powerful. I keep talking about it because it was one of those life-changing moments. and Dr. Perry Stanislas was there. Also was a human rights activist from the Gambia, and his name is Madi Jabati. Also, there was an economist. I'll get it out. Spit my teeth out. Right, economist called Nyang Najai. Yeah. Also, Honorable Halifa Salah was there, and he spoke so powerfully. Also, a man called Ade Rami, who is the head of news and current affairs on the QTV television network here, and he read a poem. Oh my goodness. It is one of the best poems I have read for a long time, except for those from, including those from Tatah and also Cherno Gay, who's also a prolific poet here. But it was just so inspiring. ALD was so inspiring, and there's so much Pan-African activity now. There's so much. It's like a revival. I love it.
It is. That's the
I love it.
fire.
And so many people coming home. So many people coming home. You know, Aliu and now Carlo Fai has been very vocal, and he is such a powerful orator. My goodness. And he tells the story handed down from generation to generation to generation about the people, our ancestors, which were taken from Busra. And so, and then you have, you know, two teachers, very powerful teachers. You have Mr. Jallo, and he taught for 25 years, and he's a very passionate Pan-Africanist. And then you have my adopted brother, Lamin Kojabi of Busra, who's also a passionate Pan-Africanist. And I just want to go quickly to Glendon, because Glendon is being in Busra a lot, developing Busra a lot. And he's been to the last VDC meetings with me, and that means village development committees. But I know he wants to talk to you to how do we develop the global village. So I'm going to hand over a Pan-African village. So I'm going to hand over to Glendon to discuss that in more detail.
Okay.
Go to the mic.
Again, thank you very much for the opportunity. Again, Sister Nacho. And you know, it's before I go into that, I'd like to say it's a pleasure to be in the presence of two queens who have been trying to get on the same platform for a very long time, and you know the challenges we've had to make it happen. It's something that I think needed to happen, and as we move forward, I would like to see more of the vloggers, you know, unifying to achieve the common goal of unification of the African people, not just the continent, but the African people, wherever we are. You know, that would be a pleasure for me. Let me talk a little bit about the VDC in Basura. You know, it's so fascinating to see so many younger people, and I'm saying younger because I think I would say about 80% of the people on the VDC are younger than about 90% are younger than I am, and they are very progressive. And I see these young people are pursuing things in the best interest of their community. I can only see positive things happening when those of us who recognize ourselves as African find our way in these other villages, not just one, not just two, but for as many as possible, and try to understand the dynamics of these communities and share whatever you have, and maybe you can learn from whatever they have to offer, because they have a lot to offer. And we need to blend. There's a blend that needs to occur in order to make this unification final. Basura is a very unique, in my mind, because it has taken me back to my childhood, if I can say that. And I have been in the village quite a bit. When I go there now, it's like, I don't want to leave. I was there just this morning, and you know, I'm in the community, and it's like, you know, you just don't want to come back to.
No.
You just don't. And it's fascinating. It's very, very peaceful. You know, you get a chance to see what or experience what peaceful is. You know, And this is something that I think people have lost the understanding of peacefulness because we have all taken off towards the shine, the bright lights, and we forgot what it is like, what it feels like to be at peace. So our energies are, it's like we're going crazy. We're going crazy. But again, Basura is very unique, and I there are things I would like to do with the council, being a part of them now, to help wherever I can and share whatever information I can with my friends outside of the Gambia, outside of Basura, so that they can contribute whatever they can to help speed up the process of that unification, that understanding, and that building. I look forward to that. So again, it's a pleasure being here in the Gambia, and it's even more fascinating to be sitting among the queens of Pan-Africanism. This is a pleasure for me. I'm all elated by this. Susan, I've been trying to get this to happen for a long time.
I know.
Thank you. There's not too many questions I could ask Susan because we talk outside of this anyway. Whenever I feel to bother her, I would bother her outside of this anyway, and she knows that. So I wouldn't question Susan too much on air. Really, she fascinates me with the work she does, and I'm always thrilled by the guests she has on her show. They always thrill me, and when I do call, I add whatever I can, and I try to take as much as I can from them. And it's all because of the work you've been doing, and I really applaud you for that. There's not much I can ask you, Susan. You have been doing a very good job, and you continue to do that. Thank you.
Okay, I'll ask the question then, because he doesn't want to ask it. I want you to talk to, before we go, we're going to close very shortly. And if there's any questions anybody else wants to ask them now in the comments, please. I want to speak to what I was talking about, which is the future of Pan-Africanism through our youth. And how do we now, spread this enthusiasm, this energy, this vast energy that is now, catching fire. I see so many people coming here to the Gambia. It is so exciting. And many of them have said, Julia, I've Bla Xit. Julia, I've Bla Xit. Julia, I've Bla Xit. And it's awesome. And I'm like, yay! And we're jumping, we're hugging, and the one of the things they say to me is like, they're so thankful that they've left. They're thankful that, we were able to share about Africa, share about our experiences, because it gave people hope to come home. So I want you to speak to that a message of hope right now for the youth, for us globally as an African community. Before we close this show, I'd just like you to give a message of hope, and also, wish Joshua Mapongo every success with his book. I'd love to have him on the show to talk about his book, to encourage sales, because by sharing information, we share knowledge, which is really, really important. So I would like you to share your knowledge, share your message and your strategy, for sharing Pan-Africanism in the future, and also a message of hope for us moving forward. And then I'll be closing the show, because I've been up since after 5 and I'm knackered. Bla Xit Family. And I did do an exclusive interview today, which you will be getting, all about my visit with the president. So I will be sharing that. So you go ahead, my sister, and we're going to close on, your wonderful messages. But before saying that, I just want to say thank you. Thank you for everything you do, and thank you for how you're doing it. And I just want to say, just keep on. Like my late father used to say, right on, and he used to say, in whatever you do, enjoy. Yeah. And so just keep doing it. We're always going to have critics. Yeah. We're always going to have people that criticize us, calls us the joke of the century or what have you. Yeah. But like I said, every joke, yeah, has to have a comedian, and that comedian has to be the person that is presenting that joke. And so that's why they're funny. So, you know, we have to take things lightly and move forward. So give us your inspirational words in closing today's show, please. I'm just going to mute.
Okay. Thank you, thank you. It's first of all, I want to thank all of you that are watching and supporting the work that we're putting out there, be it Black Seeds or every Awok African that is on there. I want to also thank you, Glendon, for this Buzara project. We would like to have more information about it on the Pan African Daily TV. A message of hope. I tapped it today. And also in the last conversation that we had on the show with a young Pan-African that, how can I say, he shared a story of how he became transformed. And that message brought too much hope. And that message, I want to share it or give it over to those that did not watch it, or to share the spirit of it. In the village, when we sit together, we always eat from one bowl. And when we eat from one bowl, it is the spirit of communism and community and sharing. And now when we drink also from our calabash or from our bowls. And when we drink, we pass over the cup and each person will drink. It is not unusual that we see these things in modern circular religion setup where they share bread and they drink wine. It all came from your ancestors. What am I trying to say? I'm saying I saw on your pictures today something that I just kept smiling until I was here. Your son. Have you looked at the pictures? Your son, how, I mean, it's like you saw the stars in his eyes. And for me, that was hope. That is the African child that is not afraid of what tomorrow would be like. That is the African child that at his age could meet his president. His president would grant audience to him. So definitely he listened to him. That is an African child that the world would never have any opportunity to label him as a child that is dying of poverty and hunger. That is the new face, the smile, the broad face, the confidence in which he stood, putting on his regalia, you know, the garments, the fabrics. I mean, he was so confident. That I went through all the images you sent. Of course, I love all of you. But when I looked at that son of ours, okay, grandson, I mean, I saw every attribute why there is hope. And that hope is not only for his generation that we're working for. That hope represents the face of the African child. We know in the diaspora, the face of poverty in everything is Black. You see it on all their billboards. But of course, not just Black, but it's a female face. And so when we mothers get up, we give hope, we birth hope. Now, coming to the story of Dennis Boatwright, he gave us hope by doing what? We look at the timeline of Pan-Africanism. And I think this is one of the things that would make us spark up tonight. I hope I could put it the way he did it. We look at the timeline of each and every opportunity that the African had to be united and missed it. And we treated that topic. And now we are at the stage that we are having another opportunity. I mean, he made references to starting from the OAU that became the AU, you know, just the concept of even saying the Organization of African Unity was the spirit of the Marcus Garvey, of the Thomas Sankara, of the Patrice Emery Lumumba, of the Malcolm X. All the spirit of the Ya Asante, all these queens were in that foundation. Later on, what happened? That we were what we are today. Now he came up even to the movement in the 60s, the biggest revolution. How many thousand people marching in the street, starting from the Malcolm X, starting from the Patrice Lumumba. Those are all steps that we are where we are today that we missed that opportunity, because the question that day was Africa's missed opportunity to one. And we took those timeline analyzing what happened at what stage. Now, most of the stages, we realized that even the freedom fighters or the ones that are pushing for Pan-Africanism were killed, were murdered. Now, it is not even interesting that they were murdered, but who were the sellout of their murder? It was just always one among us. It was always an African that was used to get, to get to the brother or the sister. So then we came up now even to the latest reason why, or the main spark up to why we are today. Everybody was doing, like I said, the first group that was woke, they were doing their own things. But what actually happened at this other opportunity that we have, the latest, was the death of George Floyd. 27 million alone in America felt the whole street. The whole world rose up for Africa. The whole world rose up. Now we got even artists like the Jerusalema that came from South Africa and they danced. All of this happened. So there's something in Pan-Africanism. We look at the timeline, we look at the signs, we look at the period, and then we ask ourselves, these are all opportunities that we had. What happened? We saw the Black Lives Movement came up. Funds everywhere. And we start to come up with every strategy. Now it's broke. Why? So what is the hope I'm saying? This should be the last opportunity and the time that we will not miss it. So if you look at the timeline, you as an African and every African, ask yourself, which role are you playing in the unity of Africa? Are you the one that will be the sellout? Are you the one that would use the others to get to your people? Are you the one that would just even click a like button on Bla Xit and a comment and share? Are you the one that would say, Juliet, yes, you're doing right, but sister, from the bottom of my heart, I think we could do that, rather than doing it in a poisonous way? Now, these are the fundamental questions that I want us to leave here today. Look at yourself and be the African that you want. But ask yourself, what type of African are you? And you put yourself in this timeline at the time that we are now. Because this time, we are not going to miss the opportunity of our unity. This time, nobody, I say nobody, is going to hijack the unity of the African. It doesn't matter what role you're playing. Nobody. It is the time of our gods, of our leaders, of our ancestors. Everyone that is called is doing his own job. Ask yourself, what is my own role as an African? Whether you like to belong it or not, like we say, oh, I'm African proud, do you have a choice? Ask yourself. I don't have a choice. Because even if I change, like they say, no matter how long a fish would stay in the ocean, it will never become a crocodile. No matter what passport and colors and shapes we have, you're going to remain an African. So ask yourself in this timeline, what role am I playing as an African? Because a lot of us would be sold out. Now, who is going to do that? Ask yourself, is it going to be me? How do I look at Juliet? Do I just smile with her on the camera and behind I sit and I imagine things because I feel the world is not seeing me? No. Our ancestors and the God of our creation watches all of us at all times. So we be conscious of that. And I know that this spirit, we will not miss that opportunity as we are doing it. So I leave all of us, with the love of our ancestors and say, Hotep, and we pay them respect. And through them, they share leadership through our presidents, our elders, irrespective of their challenges. We all have one. The biggest thing, like Juliet said, I am an African and Africa is born in me. That is the spirit of Pan-Africanism. Now, yes, my leaders may not be doing the right thing, but I'm a daughter of the leader that is not doing a right thing. So to say, if my father is a mad person, I'm a daughter of a mad person. That is just as simple as that. And we keep it simple. We don't make it as if it's something that had never happened. All this movement happens. Today, like you say, they're growing up, they're just a replicate of everything. But the fundamental question that we're asking in this decade, what went wrong? What were the opportunities we missed? What is it that we don't want to miss again? So I thank you so much, my sister. And from the bottom of my heart, I thank all your viewers that are supporting you and supporting us in every day. And I thank even the Pan-African Daily TV viewers that are also watching this program now. And that, yes, we are just here because you are there. We are nothing without Africa. We didn't choose to belong to Africa or to come from Africa. It was that we must, and we don't have a choice. So thank you so much, sister, for your invitation. And I say bye-bye to all of you. And I love you. I love you. I love you. Yes. Bye-bye.
I want to say thank you too. We love you too. And that was amazing. So, you know, just to wrap up with everybody, today has been a phenomenal day. It's been a historical day. If you weren't here at the beginning of the show, today, Bla Xit and Council of African Descendants, Adrian and I founded Council of African Descendants and Bla Xit. And today was a remarkable day because we had an audience and a private meeting with the president of the Gambia, which was remarkable. You know, I've got to say that His Excellency Adama Barrow really has given me more passion, more drive, more enthusiasm and inspiration to keep moving on. And not only that, he also has given me the impetus to realize that everything that we're doing is on track. And I think that's really important. And he made reference to a leader who said that if you can't fly, he said, this is what one of the things that Adama Barrow shared with us, His Excellency Adama Barrow, the president of the Gambia, said to us today, and I want to leave you with this remark. He said that, you know, fly, but if you can't fly, then run. And he said, if you can't run, then walk. And if you can't walk, then crawl. And he said, if you can't crawl, just keep it moving. And that's what my message is for all of us as Africans today, is to keep it moving. He said, no one can take away your Africanness. No one can reject your Africanness. So to everybody, my message is to you. We are automatically African. Let's embrace that thought, embrace that fact, and let's hope all of Africa opens its doors to us coming back and realizes that the horrific past that we have should never be forgotten, and that we are family returning and being reunited and restoring our motherland with our investment, with our love, with our ideas, with our contribution. And what we need is to be reinitiated into our culture, into our language, into our families, into our home, and deeply and seeped into our own culture. So with that, I'm going to say goodbye. I'm going to thank our guests today once again, Dr. Susan Tatah. Please, if you haven't, go and subscribe to the Pan-African Daily TV channel and help support that channel. She's doing wonderful things. I'd like to thank Glendon, who has been here. I'm not asking many questions, though. I'll talk to him about it later. Don't worry about it. Yeah. And my family, and of course, all of those who have been supporting us as Bla Xit, those that have been giving us support via PayPal, using bobcollective@yahoo.com, or via Patreon. I want you to know that your all of your support has been really going towards a positive cause moving forward. And I also want you to know that I've got a surprise for you on Sunday. I'm not sure if I'll be able to go live, but Sunday is going to be the ceremony commemorating our contribution to the disaster area of Nimakunku. So I remember went to Nimakunku, and there was a terrible floods last year, and I said that we would try and raise money, and we auctioned some land, and we was able to do the borehole at Busura, and we was able to contribute towards school and various other things. Well, the last spare shekels have gone towards Nimakunku, but there is a special couple actually called Tani and Elong Sylvester, and they're based there in New York in America, and they came to the Gambia, and they came to Nemakunku with us. And when we shared about the tragedy that happened there and the people that died there and everything that happened, their heart went out, and they went back to their congregation for their church, as United Methodist Church, I believe, in Westfields in New York. And they raised about $3,000. It's about 122,000 Delassie for the cause. So I just want to thank them, because now the road will probably be completed, hopefully before rainy season. Let's hope. The rains are already upon us. I love rainy season, by the way. It's one of my favorite seasons because the sea is warm, and because everything starts to grow, everything starts to get nurtured, everything starts to reproduce. And so, and I love rain, and I love sun too. So I just want to say thank you to my darling husband and to my wonderful son for their support today, and to all of the honourable members of Parliament that supported us, and especially to His Excellency Adam Barrow, who really showed us love today. And I think that's really important, that he made us feel more than welcome, and he wants you to come home. He really wants you to come home. So family, you know, he wants you to Bla Xit. He watches Bla Xit. I got to keep going. He said to me, Juliet, he said to me, Nyekjo Kajabi, you're a household name. Bla Xit is a household name in Gambia. I nearly dropped off my chair when he said that he watches Bla Xit. So now I'm going to have to be very mindful about what I say in the future. But I'll always be keeping it real, so you don't have to worry about that. But I just want to say to each and every one of you Bla Xit family that has been on this live stream today, and each and every one of you that write positive comments, email me and get in touch, do that. And also each and every one of you that wants to repatriate, wants to come home, we are making available a lot more really reasonable lands. So don't worry. There's so much good things happening, and it will be affordable for you to come home. It will be affordable. Trust me, I'm working on something big for you. So you will be able to come home, and in beautiful locations too. So, and you will be able to afford it, even on a budget. You'll be able to afford your home here. And I don't sell land, but I do work with land agents like Mr. Jallo, whose heart is so impassioned in Keba, whose heart is so impassioned into Pan-Africanism, that they realize that it's important to create affordable homes and make them available for you. So everybody stay positive, stay Black, stay African, keep it strong. We're going to keep moving forward. And today has been a step in the most positive and right direction for us in citizenship. Today was a historical day. I'm glad you could join me on today's live. And let's keep moving forward, as our president has told us today. Let's keep moving forward. And let's just work together. Let's work together. All right. So thanks, Glendon.
Thank you very much, Juliet. Thank you very much.
You can call me
Nyancho.
Nyancho.
Thank you very much. It's work being rewarded. It's your efforts, the efforts of yourself, your husband Adrian, and all the Bla Xit supporters who have been behind the scene helping to make it happen. Thank you guys for your work. And you know, at the end of the day, we're gonna see the rewards of this. It's not anything easy. Believe me, looking from behind the camera, I can tell you it's not easy. I don't always be, you know, in the limelight, but I can tell you I've seen things that I would not have seen had I not been here. So thank you guys for your work. And Honorable Mr. Barrow,
His Excellency.
Excellency, it is a blessing that you can open your doors to Bla Xit for this special event. Thanks again, and we look forward to bigger things happening. Thank you.
Yeah, so thank you to everybody. And like I said, there's nothing more empowering than meeting a really positive, powerful, and very influential, positive Pan-African grassroots African president. And that happened today. So Bla Xit, big yourselves up in the comment section. Give yourself some claps. I see you there, Bijinoa. Didn't see you join me today, so I gather you're staying off of camera, but I want to see some claps in the comment section before I close the show. Please give yourself a round of applause, because this is a team effort. One Africa, yeah, one dream. Yeah, and remember, follow your dreams. Follow your dreams. I always say it, and I really do mean it. So, you know, it's one Africa, one nation, one people, one destiny. Yeah, one unity. We can do this. We can do this. And remember this, we have to respect and love each other. It's the only way forward. It is the only way forward. We must love and respect each other. And listen, we need help here. We need help to bring in a dialysis machine, help to bring in other things. So don't think because I'm not asking that there's not needs. There's always needs, but I try and do my best. You know, internet equipment and so on. We have needs, and don't think you can't help. You can help. So just get in contact with us, blaxithome@gmail.com. You know, I put, you know, I'm an action person, so I just get to it. So sometimes I'm doing so much things and you don't even know, but I will try and share more in the future. So thanks for the, hang on a minute. How many claps is that? 1, 2. Bla Xit family, we all sleeping. Where the claps? Give yourself a round of applause. Come on now. Okay, listen. It looks like you don't want to give yourselves a round of applause. Ingrid Jarrett, well done. Thank you for giving yourself a round of applause. Bijou Noir, thank you. Siprak Afron, thank you. And okay, Olagunde David, Amina Timothy Clark, thank you. So that's the end of the show. Do you want to say goodbye, Age? No, it's too late. I'm out. So we'll join Adrian later on. He was having a meeting. So, okay. Davina, Yeda, and Soga Family TV, and Tuko and Ingrid Jarrett. So thank you very much. And it's over and out for now. So Bla Xit Family, meet us again on the next live, and wish us every luck for the successful handing over and start initiating of the road in Nemakunku. And I want to thank you because you made it happen. Thank you.